This may sound silly to some people, probably the majority of people watching this, because most of you live in a much warmer area than I am. But you have to think that, or remember, that winter here is about 8+ months a year, and the temperatures are constantly in the -40s, maybe even sometimes the -50s. Now right now, it must be +50 degrees. Must be. And I am absolutely roasting. Like, this is too much. But, you know, keep in mind, it's 100 degrees warmer than what it was for the last 8 months. Old rose hips. Didn't think many of those would survive. Most of the animals would have found that by now. This is, I'm sinking up to my knees here in wet, slushy snow. Alright, I can walk on this fairly sturdy part. This is actually quite good here. No problem. I can get right up, right to the edge. There's the open water. And as you can see, it's built up an ice dam. It's just, it breaks, and it breaks up into little chunks, being like 4 feet square and more. Big log out in the middle there. It carries this stuff all down the river. And this ice dam now goes on and on down the river for who knows how far. Right there. Kind of interesting. They're a larch. Tamarack is what we call them anyway. But they're a coniferous tree that's not actually an evergreen, as you can see. They have needles just like any other coniferous evergreen type tree. But in the fall, the needles turn yellow and they all fall off, just like the deciduous trees. I'm not sure I know of any other tree that does that, that's actually a coniferous tree. Casey. I wasn't sure Casey was going to make it through the winter this year, but now that it's warming up, he seems to have revived. He's an old boy. The teeny little buds of the tamarack tree just starting to green up, and the tiny little cones that will be their seed cones. Here's a larger one here. You can see how small it actually is. That's as big as it gets. But there's a whole lot of them coming along here, and also we can see here the little flowers. Nature's an amazing place. Just look at that tree. You can see that. Look at the little cones all over it. It's just, and all the little purple flowers. Look at that. That's amazing. Beautiful. Have to be out here all the time, because each of these stages lasts only sometimes for hours, or even more likely a few days, but still that's a short period of time to see this. And then the next stage comes, and it's very cool. If you're not out here all the time, look at the things you never get to see. I doubt if you heard that on camera, but there's a partridge drumming not far from here. And as you can see, there's puddles because quite a few people use this trail. It's close to home. You can see there's water coming from here, but there's not really any melt-off happening anywhere in this area here. But the water is coming out at a pretty steady trickle. I don't know how well you can see that. Right there. Oh boy, the old knees. But also on even higher area. Now this is probably 6 or 7 inches, maybe even 8 or 10 inches higher, and you can see the water coming out of there. And a pretty steady little trickle. And there are springs all over the place here. It may not seem like a very big thing for most people to see things like this, but oh man, it's absolutely quiet out here. It's a bit chilly, but the sun is trying to come out, and I'm out with my dogs, and it's just the only place in the world I'd like to be. Okay, what'd you do with Casey? So many things to sniff. So many awesome smells as the snow melts away. A new treasure. There was a moose kill here. This is the same area we found the scapula and the backbone, and it's spread out through, probably a couple hundred feet here, maybe more. And the coyotes and everybody's all been picking away at it. It was killed last year, so that carcass was out here last fall and all winter, and now into the spring it's just bits of bones and remnants from wherever, scattered by the animals. Is it good? Must be tasty. Oh, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy. Dogwoods are extremely common around here. They're everywhere, just everywhere. But something else that's here that you almost can't see, and I'm going to get down here, it's right beside one of them, is this little wild rose. And you can see he's got the little spikes all over him, and he's starting to get the little sprouts. And these wild roses only bloom for possibly a week or so at the most. They don't hold their flowers for very long, and they're all sort of a fairly soft pinkish, very light rosy color. There's no really dark ones. But this area here, and almost all the open areas like this, and this goes a long way. This goes a long way. That's probably, well, over the rise it keeps going over the little hill over there, but that hill's probably a good 200 yards away. And this whole open area here is the same way. I don't even have to take a step. All right, here, let's stand here. There's a pretty good one right there. There's another one right there. Another one right there. Another one right there. Another one right there. Oops, right there. All around me. There's here one step. Well, here's another one right here that I didn't have to go back for. Another one right here. As you get the point, that they're all over the place, just everywhere. And I've taken maybe 3 steps just showing you this. So there are just thousands of these things out here, tens of thousands probably. And is it ever pretty for that very short period of time that these are in bloom? And this is like the caribou lichen, and this is what the caribou eat. And it's amazing that this stuff there's not much to it. Look at that. There's just hard to imagine that little bit of stuff can keep a whole herd of animals fed, but that's what it is. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of nutrition in this stuff, so they must have to eat vast amounts of it. But when you see it when it's all out, there's vast amounts of it, so I guess it all works out in the scheme of things. Nature's a pretty amazing place. Everything worked out just perfectly, right up until people come along and screw it all up. Alright guys, anybody remember where we parked?